Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It gives me a great deal of pleasure this morning to announce ACT's party list for the 2020 election. I want to pay tribute to ACT's list selection board for their diligent work over the last few weeks. It's been a privilege to have such a large talent pool to work with. The top 10 candidates on our list reflect the calibre across the board of our candidate pool and what ACT offers New Zealanders. They are indeed reflective of what ACT's caucus will look like come the 19th of September. All have been selected based on merit. They have a powerful range of skill sets and real-world experience, and the strength of personality to thrive in the parliamentary setting and to deliver accountable government. Our 2020 list is, in number 1 position, David Seymour. 2, Brooke Van Velden. 3, Nicole McKee. 4, Chris Bailey. 5, Simon Court. 6, James McDowell. 7, Karen Chua. 8, Mark Cameron. 9, Stephen Berry. 10, Tony Severin. 11, Damien Smith. 12, Miles McConway. 13, Beth Holbrook. 14, Carmel Claridge. 15, Bruce Carley. 16, Cameron Luxton. 17, Gray O'Sullivan. 18, Maya Deedman. 19, our whangarei candidate, David Seymour. And 20, David King. All other candidates will be ranked alphabetically. I want to call David Seymour.
Thank you, Tim. Well, thank you very much, Tim. And I want to thank the ACT Party, which is led by Tim Jago, our president, for the superb organisation and recruitment that they have done over the past few months. The ACT Party is standing a total of 54 candidates, and the number and calibre of our candidates reflects the party's rise over the past several months. The ACT Party can now say that if you give your party vote to ACT, you are voting to improve the calibre of candidates in our parliament. You are voting to bring accountability and critical thinking into our parliament. You are voting to have in parliament some common sense for a change. At a time when we have a whole generation wondering what the effects of COVID will be for their life, and by that I mean millennials who have had their career plans thrown into turmoil, concerned about global markets and what hope and certainty they have in their future. Brooke Van Velden, our number 2 candidate and newly elected deputy leader, speaks for that generation. Brooke left the private sector to come to Parliament and work assiduously and effectively to pass the End of Life Choice Act. She's the most effective political operator I've ever seen in the halls of Parliament. Brooke Van Velden is the future of the ACT Party, a real star with an X factor who will make an extraordinary member of Parliament. Not many backroom staffers in Parliament manage to get nationwide media attention for their effectiveness in the corridors of power. The fact that Brooke is one of those tells you what such a special talent we have at our number 2. I want to say that at a time when New Zealanders have felt divided, they've felt that laws have been ineffective and ultimately made us no safer, Nicole McKee has been the calm voice of reason as we've attempted as a nation to navigate firearm laws. Just this week, the High Court vindicated ACT's stance when it said that Parliament's legislation was contrary to our nation's Bill of Rights. Throughout this process, Nicole McKee has been there mediating the debate between 2 groups of New Zealanders, and we need her in Parliament not only for licensed firearm owners who deserve a fair go, but actually for all New Zealanders who want to see our laws made democratically with due process and want us to actually be safer. But I should add that Nicole McKee also runs a small business focused on firearm safety. She is also a mother and also somebody who has extensive experience working up and down rural and provincial New Zealand. At a time when New Zealanders are rightly concerned about the way that small businesses have been treated through the COVID crisis, Chris Bailey is a real small business owner who employs 30 people at his pub in Nelson. But that's not the only dimension to Chris Bailey, our number 4 candidate. Chris Bailey has had 14 years as a member of the New Zealand Police, where he worked in youth aid. He then developed his passions to become a full-time secondary teacher, where he specialises in helping kids with special needs. And at a time when New Zealanders are asking, how can we intelligently get on top of the scourge of gang violence and drugs in our society, we have a candidate who's actually helped some real people deal with those issues at the coalface on the front line. That's Chris Bailey, and we're so proud to be standing him out of Nelson as our number 4 candidate. At a time when New Zealanders in rural and urban New Zealand alike are trying to figure out how is it possible that farmers are being pushed to the brink by unreasonable regulations on water. Just around the corner from this hotel in the Hobson Bay, the Auckland Council has a permit to release almost, it seems, unlimited sewage into the Waitemata Harbour. Well, Simon Court is a civil and environmental, Simon Court is a civil and environmental engineer. Simon has worked in Europe, in Fiji, around the world and up and down New Zealand in the private and public sectors on the critical infrastructure challenges that the world faces. And they could never be more relevant than they are in Auckland today, when we have E. coli levels at 800 times the allowable level in the Hobson Bay. Simon also shares something in common with me. He has a family member with Down syndrome. This party has always cared deeply about disability issues. And I'm very pleased that Simon has come on board with the special perspective of a son with Downs, because I don't think we've paid enough attention to issues like that here in New Zealand. Ladies and gentlemen, all together, we have an ACT party lineup that would introduce high quality members of parliament into our House of Representatives, a group of people who will bring some common sense for a change into parliament, and a group of New Zealanders who are passionate about making New Zealand a better place from a range of perspectives and experiences. Our country is going to have to navigate some difficult decisions. How do we get the debt under control? What is our strategy? Can it simply be that we are going to lock ourselves down, borrow money, and hope for a vaccine? Or are we going to have a more intelligent debate with accountability and critical thinking? The ACT Party stands for the thinking voter who wants to see talented and devoted people coming into Parliament to discuss how we can change our future and have a better tomorrow. Thank you very much, and I and our fantastic troop of candidates are very happy to take questions.
I see you've got 5 people up there. Is that the sum of your ambitions, that you want us to see these 5 people, or are you hoping for more?
Well, James, why don't you come up here? So, Dr. James McDowell is an expert in marketing, is a member of 2 pistol clubs in the Waikato. James McDowell is somebody who I think would make a superb member of Parliament. And I think, like the others, he would be fantastic. He works for a charity and is somebody that I think would do great. So, yep, we can go with James. How many more would you like?
How many more can you get?
Well, look, on current polling, 4 or 5 of us would be members of Parliament. I think that voters are on a journey towards ACT. The current polling reflects the voters who are already saying they'd vote for us. That's 4, in some polls, 5 MPs. But I think we can double that by election and see anywhere from 6 to 8 ACT members of Parliament.
Which party support are you going after most? I mean, seems maybe New Zealand First is one that you can...
I think New Zealand First is a rich seam of votes for just about any other party because they've let down so many different voters. And I think on the firearm issue, they've particularly let down their voters. And that's what's brought people like Nicole McKee to the ACT Party. But I just give you this unexpected thought. 2 of the 5 people initially behind me have voted for the Green Party before. Now, we're forgiving in the ACT Party, and we know no one's perfect, but it reflects the fact that we've had people coming up to me for the last year saying, I'm a Green. I don't think that central government control is the answer for the environment. And by the way, I'm a Green Party member. They've abandoned freedom of speech. The ACT Party standing on principle. I'm with you now.
What do you think of the Green Party policy that's been launched today about basically heavy taxing, etc., etc.? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen the Green Party's policy, but if you tell me that they're proposing new taxes, I'm not surprised. The truth is, for the Green Party, if you could tax your way to prosperity, North Korea would be the shining city on the hill. And the problem with the Green Party is they have no economics.
Who could you work with? I mean, would it just be national, or would you be working with others as well?
Look, we'd love to be able to work with the other parties, but unfortunately, Labour, New Zealand First and the Greens are completely unfit to govern, and in 2 cases probably won't be there. The ACT Party is here because there's not a lot of difference between Labour and National, but National are still more competent than Labour. It's them that we want to see govern. But we won't be wagging the dog. We'll be keeping the dog on a very short leash, especially when it comes to tax and debt, where they can go a bit skew-whiff sometimes.
What does Todd think of your lineup?
Oh, I have no idea. I imagine Todd's busy trying to get votes for himself, but I think if he was going to be tuning into our press conference on the live stream, I'm sure Todd Muller would be very impressed and a little bit envious of our MPs.
Anything else? There's some one-on-ones outside if you like.
Yeah. Okay, well, we might just, for the purposes of our live stream, just bring our candidates up and have them quickly say a quick introduction of themselves. And then we can do some other stuff for the media who are here straight after that. So starting off with Brooke van Velden, tell us all about yourself.
Hi, I'm Brooke van Velden. I'm the new Deputy Leader as of today. I'm so excited to be part of the ACT Party at this time in our history. We're growing and we're going from strength to strength. The latest polls have us on 4 to 5 MPs, and I can see us growing even further as we get through this election. And we have a wonderful team of candidates nationwide, and I can't wait to get out there and get the party vote.
Fantastic. Nicole.
Tēnā koutou katoa, Nicole McKee. I hail from Wellington, mother of 4, have done quite a bit, but passionate about firearms reform, which we need so that we can have a safe community. The current structure that's been pushed through or rushed through does not allow us to actually be able to say that we are in a safe community. So I want to be a part of that with a dedicated team that has the same principles as I, which is about freedom of speech and freedom to be able to push our agendas in a safe and good way for the country. I'm excited to be a part of this team, and I'm excited for our future. And I think that we can go places here and we can actually change the country to what we used to have and what we can still achieve. Thank you.
And Simon, Chris, sorry.
Afternoon, Chris Bailey. I'm candidate for Nelson. Really proud to be here representing ACT. I started teaching in 1986, still teaching now, however, a few things in between, police for 14 years, and formed from some very strong opinions about a lot of those issues. And I'm just really looking forward to joining part of this team. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. And finally, Simon Court.
Thanks, David.
I'm Simon Court, as well as standing on the list. I'm also the Te Atatu candidate. And it's been a long time since I was a Green voter. It's been a long journey for me to join ACT, but I've always recognised that innovation is the solution to complex problems, not more regulation. And I'm proud to join the ACT team as an environmental engineer and somebody who has a good understanding about the strategies that we need to fix the really complex problems in New Zealand.
And just to show you how good we are at putting our candidates on the spot, James McDowell, come and give us a quick, here we go.
Kia ora, James McDowell here in the Waikato. I'm exceptionally proud to represent ACT, position number 6. I'm especially proud to have worked on our firearms policy over the last 18 months. And I think we have done a lot of good in that area. And I am extremely proud of our lineup. And of course, having Nicole McKee here is going to make a huge difference. So thank you.
No problem. And let's keep going. Karen Shore, our number 7 candidate.
Hi, I'm Karen Shaw. I'm privileged to be standing here today. I'm a mother of 4 that lives on the shore and I'm self-employed. I think that every New Zealander deserves a voice in this country, and I think our current governments have forgotten what the average New Zealander is feeling and going through, and I just want to be the voice of the people.
Okay, and you know, in Chinese, they say that 8 is a lucky number, so let's do one more. Rural farmer, the most authentic rural voice in New Zealand, politics and in New Zealand, probably the world. Bring it on up, Mark Cameron from Rural.
Hello, guys. Mark Cameron, candidate for Northland. I'm been a staunch advocate for rural New Zealand. There's been a paradigm shift in the rural space, and I think we've had a bloody difficult time. Dairy farmers, sheep and beef growers, provincial New Zealand has been left. Daryl National is abandoned as traditional voters. So we as the ACT Party and all these good people behind me, the ladies over there, the ladies and gentlemen over there, are going to formulate policy that actually corrects a wrong. So it's an absolute privilege. Sorry for my nerves, but it's great to talk to you guys. So we'll talk soon. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Mark. My media advisor is telling me I have to stop doing this, so that's the end of our press conference. But I think you can see ACT has a very high quality team, and we'll be happy to do some one-on-one interviews for the media. I think that we are ending our live stream now. Is that right? Okay.